It's a pretty good feeling in Football Manager when you're able to bring in wonder kids on an approach-to-sign deal, when you're able to snoop in below a club's nose and steal their young players without even having to talk to the club. It's a very, very handy tool, and today I'll be bringing you 15 of the best approach-to-sign wonder kids that you should look out for in FM23. Hello everyone, Jake here for FMSCOUT. Welcome to the video where, as mentioned, today I'll be showing you 15 approach-to-sign wonder kids that you can go for in Football Manager 23. All of these players can be great wonder kids in your save. I'll show you exactly how you can approach them without having to pay an outright transfer fee straight away. But before we do all that, I'd like to ask you guys, if you do get any use out of this video or find a player that you like, then smash the like button for us and subscribe for more content like this. Pressing those buttons will really help in the performance of the video, and comment down below your favourite wonder kid that I missed out in the video today. So with that being said, let's go check out player number 1 and we'll use him as the example on the approach to sign. We'll take this guy who isn't going to count in my 15 in the video, Enes, and if you wanted to go ahead and try and sign him, you'll probably be able to get him for a pretty good fee anyway. I mean, he's a very good wonder kid. Anywhere below £5 million here would be a good deal, but for these players that are on a youth contract, often you can go ahead and hit that approach to sign button that you saw there, and straight away you can start negotiating a contract. What this does is it completely bypasses the selling team's option to negotiate and reject and whatnot. Instead, you just get given a base compensation fee that you'd have to pay. In this case, it looks like it will be £2 million or so for this player. You approach to sign him and he will join your club. Now, sometimes these players won't be interested in talking to you, particularly if you're a team in England this year. It's a lot harder to get these players because they know they won't be able to play until they're 18, and therefore they don't usually agree to talk to you. But it's definitely worth checking them out because some you might still be able to approach to sign even if you're an English club. But for every other club around the world, you should be able to go to these players and offer them a contract, providing they'd like to play for you, of course. I'm Barcelona here, so this is an extreme case, but depending on who you're managing, you might be able to pick up some of these gems. So let's start off with player number 1. This is a player that I'd never heard of before today's video, and trust me, there's more where this came from in terms of players you would never have known, so make sure you stick around. But we're starting off with Enes Sali, a Romanian capped international at the age of 16, by the way, very impressive, but he plays for Farul Constanta, a team in the Romanian divisions. A nicely well-rounded wonder kid who's got great physical attributes and has the potential to be a good player in your save, depending on where that player's potential falls, of course, because it will be within a range. It's not always the same in FM, but he's definitely worth checking out, and if you're able to approach to sign him, you could get yourself a great deal. Now, I'm not going to go through and show every single option here, but you can see approach to sign is there, and I've checked it with all of these players. They're all willing to discuss here with me at Barcelona, so all of them have the option. So there's your first one, Enes Sali, a great player on the left hand side, cutting in on his right foot with plenty of room left to grow. He will be a top player for your sides. We're now going to go to the Eredivisie, and trust me, we'll be going to there and the Portuguese divisions quite a lot for some of these players. Seems to be where all of the best young talent is currently, or at least the ones that would be willing to move club without having to pay a fee for. First, we have Rainey Breinburg of Feyenoord's under 18s, a left back with good potential and great starting attributes, including some very nice physicals, really quick and agile on that left hand side. He can defend well as get forward pretty decently too, and his transfer fee would be quite a lot. But again, you can go ahead and approach to sign him. If you just went through and tried this on all 15 in your save, chances are 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, depending on who you're managing, will be willing to come to you. Then you can take your pick based on your scout reports, and maybe at the start of your save pull in a few cheap wonder kids. Whether they develop really well or you sell them on for a profit, either way, definitely worth checking these players out. But make sure you do check this out straight away, because even if you only wait a few weeks, this player and many others have the chance to potentially sign a professional deal with their club, which will stop you being able to approach to sign them. So keep an eye out, but this Netherlands 16-year-old left back would be a great choice. Rainey Breinburg, check him out. Seeing as we've done one player from Feyenoord, we may as well do another, but before I talk about him, I'd like to let you guys know I do have my own channel linked in the description down below. Over there we have Football Manager rebuilds, short videos where we show off wonder kids that you wouldn't have heard of, really quick, easy to digest, and you get some good ideas on wonder kids to sign. And also we've got a long-term series with Aberdeen going on, which a lot of you guys are really enjoying. It's my favourite series that I've ever done, so come along, check out the first few episodes, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Smash the subscribe button for me as well as we get close to 15k subs over there. But back to the list, and we've got Aymen Sliti here, who I've definitely pronounced his name wrong, but this guy on the left-hand side would be a great option if you were looking for an out-and-out winger on the left-hand side of the pitch. A very quick, pacey option with great acceleration, flair, passing technique, finishing, first touch and crossing. Potentially you could convert him to an inside forward on that right hand side with that really good finishing. You might see him bag quite a lot of goals. He's on £85 a week at Feyenoord, so hopefully you can compete with that. But yes, a good player who's got a bright future ahead of him, a lot of potential. Check him out if you haven't already. I'll try and move along quite quickly with these players, but we have an Italian centre-back now, or right-back, depending on where you want to use him, an either-footed player from Bologna in the Serie A. I believe they're still a Serie A side. Yes, they are. And it is Wisdom Amey, number 66 for them, and a player that was a great option last year. He is once again, because at the age of 16, he's 6'2" with dominant physical attributes, good in a few other areas as well. His technicals are awful, let's be honest, but everything else is decent. Maybe he could be a no-nonsense centre-back. He's got a lot of room left to grow yet, so don't judge him too harshly right now. Give him a few years, and he will be a top-draw centre-back for you, and probably also the Italian national side. Next, we're moving on to Avery Appiah of Ajax's under-18 side. This 5'8", 16-year-old can play right at the base of your midfield if you want him, or even central midfield, but positioned just behind the rest of your midfield and slightly in front of your defence. He could do a great job with nice, dominant physical attributes that are bound to grow as time goes on. He's quite small in stature, but quick and can get around very well. Over time though, that strength and jumping reach will work itself out. Mental attributes are fairly decent. Again, they'll develop over the years, but he is a good passer of a ball with good passing vision and technique, adding a good tackling ability and first touch, and he really could solidify the base of that midfield for you for a pretty bargain price. One of my favourites on this list is 15-year-old Joao Fonseca of Benfica's under-19s. He's on £55 a week here, and you can go ahead and approach to sign him. He is one of the cheaper ones out of the bunch, and he has some great attributes right from the off, but being 15, he's got so much room left to grow that you could give him 5 years of development before you even wanted to consider him for your first team, and he'll be a completely different player. So don't judge him too harshly here. All you need to know is he's got great potential, great physical starting attributes, and a strong mental base set to build up from too. Technicals are weak and lacking, but they can be improved on. In terms of Wonderkid centre-backs this year, Fonseca for me is quite high near the top because of how long you can take to develop the guy. But someone that's a bit more ready for first team football might be this man, 16-year-old Mark Verkuijl of Ajax's under-18s. Yet again, there's going to be a few players in that under-18 side, so make sure you've got the Dutch divisions loaded in your save so you can find these bargain players. But he is a right-footed defensive midfielder who is very well-rounded physically. Yes, weak in the air and not very strong, but as with all of them, they're young players on youth contracts and they've got plenty of time to grow. Mentally, he's very strong with great decision-making, composure, anticipation, aggression and teamwork. Vision does need a bit of work, but he is a good tackler with nice passing and also good first touch, which can definitely build in to a top tier central midfielder for you. Give him time to grow and he can be great for you. So check him out, Mark Verkuijl. Never heard of him before, probably butchering the pronunciation as well, but a player with a lot of potential who you should definitely go ahead and scout. Next we go to the under-18 side of AZ Alkmaar. It's Smit, who, trust me, even if he might not look like it, he does have Wonderkid potential. He's a very good passer of the football and a good decision maker. Other than that, not too much going for him at this stage, but certainly one that does have the potential to be a Wonderkid. Trust me, like written in the code of Football Manager, he can be a Wonderkid depending on where he falls in his potential range. He just needs a lot of work to get there. But Smit is a Wonderkid that you can pick up on the approach to sign. And we've got another player from AZ Alkmaar here, and I should just note, this isn't every single player, or every single Wonderkid, should I say, that you can approach to sign. Certainly not. Just some of the ones I've picked out today. This guy's name is Mastoras. He's a right-back, defensive midfielder, centre-back. For me, right-back probably seems to make the most sense with that high crossing attribute. Everything else needs a bit of work. Pretty decent mentally though, and physicals are nicely rounded, but they're only at 10, so he will need some work there. But you can see the potential to be a strong physical player. And also some of his technicals are just sitting on that borderline of being good. So with some development, by the age of 18, 19, he will definitely be a good right back option. Speaking of physical presences at the back, then Dutch 16-year-old Jorrel Hato would be a great choice. He's in Ajax's under-18 side, and I've spoke about him in a previous video before, but he is super strong physically, great mental attributes as well for such a young player. Technicals are going to need some work, but over time, hopefully, you can get them up. Maybe a left back with that 12 crossing, but because of his size, I'd opt to use him in that defensive position as a centre-back. He's left-footed as well, which is good to see, and he could potentially become a ball-playing defender with some development. He's 16, so plenty of time to mould him into whatever role you'd like. Another one from Benfica's under-19s is 6'1", 15-year-old central midfielder Thiago Freitas. I really like him, much for the same reason as Joao Fonseca, because he's got so much time to develop. You've got plenty of time to mould him into whatever role you'd like, develop him, train him. 3 or 4 years' time, you can remember who he is again, bring him into your team, and he'll probably be ready for it. Straight away, obviously, he won't be, but he does have some nice attributes, a good base set to build up from, and a very good option. But there's another player in the under-19 side, and this one is 16-year-old Gomes, a midfielder who, again, nothing too stand out about him. He's 16 years of age. Only the best of the best 16-year-olds have those great attributes right from the off. These guys are all very much decent prospects, but need a lot of work. They do all have wonderkid potential, but Gomes here, number 90 for the under-19 side, is definitely worth checking out. Into our final 3 players now, we've got Tristan Ramon Sandigo of Kubo/KK. Someone let me know if you know the answer to this, whether he's actually a high-rated prospect or whether he is just a glitch in the game, which might happen. Someone's put in the wrong numbers for him, because you can pick him up on a free, but he does have potential in the save of 150, as you can see. But whereas all of those other players, their current ability will probably be about 80, 90, 75 maybe. Tristan's here is super low at only 35. In terms of the English divisions, that's probably not even non-league standards. He's only a future prospect at his current club. He's not even breaking into their team yet, so it makes me think he might be a bit of a glitch player, but he does technically have wonderkid potential. You can approach to sign him on a free, and maybe if you're a real low-down club, you can develop him. I see very little chance you'll get him to that potential rating, but maybe you could get him to, 100 current ability or something by the end of his career. He's got a lot of room to grow, and will hopefully grow quite quick because of that big gap between his current ability and his potential ability. We then have Lucas Bergvall, who only yesterday I made a Wonderkid to Superstar episode on, playing for IF Brommagicana out in the Swedish divisions. He is phenomenal player. So cheap as well, even if you didn't approach to sign him, on £8 a week currently. It's basically child labour at that point, so make sure you go ahead and free this guy from his club. Give him a new contract somewhere else, bring him to your team, and he's probably the best player in terms of starting ability out of anyone on this list. He's very well rounded and could contribute to your side massively. Check him out and you won't regret it. And another player from a Wonderkid to Superstar episode is 16-year-old Ajax under-18 striker Sky Vink. This Dutchman up front can become a great player, great set of base attributes to build up from. He does need to improve his finishing, but he is a good header of the ball, strong physically, mentally, and he can also pass well. He can actually turn in to a very nice complete forward once he's developed a little bit, but that will take time, but definitely one to check out if you want to get a player on an approach to sign deal. But there we go, everyone. That is our list. If you didn't know any of these 15, or you found one that you want to go sign in your save now, then make sure you smash that like button for us, or if you just want to be nice, press that button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my channel, linked in the description, and let me know who we missed in the comments down below. But most of all, have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, and goodbye.